But we are back in order, and my sheet music is actually up and running, so that's a beautiful thing. All right, let's just jump straight into this. Thank you for your patience if you are still on. We're just gonna go right into the next song, do a little C minor action. Here we go. Okay, at least we're back on. I don't know if anybody's back with me. I'm a little off my game all of a sudden. Okay. Fun issues with live streaming. This is the way it works out sometimes. Technical difficulties. All right. Well, if anyone is out there, thank you for coming in. I am the Mad Poet. We are doing my regularly-ish scheduled show. Obscure Mysticism Cult is still here. Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. Good stuff. So this next song, as my regulars will know, on every album I dedicate a song to someone. This is kind of an interesting album, actually. I have 2 songs dedicated to people. And this is a couple of former landlords, actually, Justin and Troy. And they were definitely the best landlords that we've ever had. We lived in a place they were renting out in Snohomish, Washington, over on Western Washington for about 1.5 years, and they were really great. After I left, I went ahead and dedicated a song to each of those guys. And so this next song is going out to Troy, and every time I dedicate a song to someone, I always get their permission first, if they are still living. There are a few posthumous dedications. And so I was talking to Troy and Justin, and Troy said, make mine. If you're gonna dedicate a song to me, make it edgy. And I said, well, they're heavy metal, so edgy is kind of what I do. And he said, okay, cool. But I did go for edgy, and also went with that in the title a bit. Troy, I don't know if you're out there. I know those guys are really busy they were always flipping houses and stuff. So I don't know if you made it, but this one's going out to my buddy Troy. And this is called The Path of the Red Rat and the Serpent. No. The Path of the Red Rat and the Dragon Tyrant. And welcome back, everybody. For those who may just be tuning in, I'm the Mad Poet. You are an audience. This is the Mad Poet Show. We are the Mad Poet Society. This is what we do. We do this every Friday at noon and 8 o'clock p.m. in the Pacific Time Zone. If you're not in the Pacific Time Zone, feel free to adjust the times as appropriate. And don't forget to hydrate. All right. So we had some technical difficulties earlier. Probably lost some viewers. Thanks for the hangers-on, and thanks for anyone else who might just be coming in to check out the stream. We are playing my 58th album today. This album is called On the Contrary, because that's kind of a contrarian kind of person at times, and that's what we felt like doing. So we just played the third song. We actually had to shut the entire stream down and bring it back up. So I'm kind of getting back in my groove here, so to speak. And we're trying out some new camera angles and stuff today. I see I'm gonna need a little bit of work on some of those, but I know where to go with that now. So we'll see what we can figure out. Having a good time. Hopefully everyone else is having a good time as well. Let's just move straight on. We're gonna slow things down a little bit. We're gonna get into a little bit of D minor action. And I actually slid into D minor in a couple places in that last song, even though it was in E Phrygian, because I'm just crazy like that. It's something I like to do. It's really only a couple notes that are different, so not a bad deal. Anyway, this next song is actually, this may have been one of the first. No, it wasn't. It was earlier than this. When I first started doing my rapid fire music production, I was very stringent about no collaboration. I would not collaborate with anyone. And people did ask, hey, can I play bass on your thing? Can I play guitar solo? No. And the first type of collaboration that I allowed was song titles. My daughter texted me and she's like, I don't know if you'd ever be interested in a song title suggestion. I'm like, yeah, hit me. And this is one, I don't remember what her first one was, but this is one of hers. This is called The Voyage to Saturn's Missing Ring. It's always interesting for me when I have, some kind of a weird tech thing like we had earlier. I feel like I'm kind of off my game after that. But it's also interesting because it leads to different ideas musically, because my brain is in a different headspace all of a sudden. And so it's like, okay, well, let me play with this. Here's something I wouldn't normally do here. So it's cool. It's interesting. Little awkward. But there is something you guys should know. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the G sharp minor portion of the show. You are welcome. Time for some smoke. All right, we're gonna pick it back up, get things kind of exciting here. This next one is called A Questionable Conspiracy. haven't played this album for a while. I gotta say, I feel like the title is pretty appropriate. Some of the stuff that I wrote into this, definitely contrarian in nature as far as music actually goes. Some of my endings, particularly ending on chords that are unexpected for a finishing touch. And kind of leaving the resolution out of things and playing with people's minds that way. It's fun. It's one of the fun things about music is all the different directions you can go. And this next song is definitely a bit of a different direction from what I generally do. This was inspired by my friend Whitney. She and I used to be in a performance group together, and she's just great. And Whitney, I don't know if you are in tonight, today, whatever it is, wherever you are. But, when I put out my 28th album, it was titled, well, it still is titled, I haven't changed it, is titled Solemn Tales of Baleful Beasts. And each of the song titles in that had to do with some sort of an animal, some sort of a beast, as it were. And after I put that out, Whitney contacted me and said, I think she put a comment on Facebook after the album went out. Somewhere, some stupid social media. They're all stupid. They're all the same. So she said, you should write a song about the Galapagos tortoise. And it took 30 more albums before I got to it. But this is the journey of the Galapagos tortoise for Miss Whitney. And definitely went with a different direction on this. It's got some metal feel to it, but you'll see when we get into it. We're doing this a little F sharp minor here, slow her down a little bit, getting into some kind of weird stuff. We'll see how this all works out. This is the journey of the Galapagos tortoise. And that is the soundtrack for the journey of the Galapagos tortoise, kids. Alright, so I'm kind of figuring out how to continue to work the whole camera thing. New stuff going on in the Mad Poet land. Well, that was F sharp minor. We're gonna just drop everything down one fret. Getting a little F minor here. And F minor is a key that I find myself really enjoying playing in, and it's interesting that certain positions on the guitar work for different players in different ways. And yeah, I don't know, probably back around my 30th album or so, I found myself really kind of getting into the whole F minor thing and kind of bringing that up every so often. So doing that here, we're going to pick the pace back up, but you know, this is kind of one of my on the contrarian kind of song titles, because I feel like everyone knows about Achilles' heel. And I just think, you know, what was it like to be Achilles? Everyone was talking about in the back of your foot. And you're walking around, and you're like, hey, Achilles, man, how's that heel doing? You know? Everything going all right with that? Yeah, great. You know, it's like, you know, could someone show concern for some other part of my body? You know, you ever think about my knees, my neck? You know, my neck's important. You know, food goes through it, air goes through it, you know. Does anybody care about my neck? No one cared about Achilles' neck, but I really care about Achilles' elbow. Welcome, Metal Diva. I haven't seen you for a while. Good to have you back. Thanks for coming into the stream. We had kind of a weird one getting started. I don't know if you were here earlier, but we had a tech issue. I had to restart my entire system and kind of threw the stream off a little bit. So we're getting back into the groove here and feeling it. But we are playing my 58th album tonight, which is called On the Contrary. We're being kind of contrarian about the whole thing because that's what we do. We're also testing out some new camera angles, camera ideas. Ooh. So still working all that wackiness out and having a good time with it, hopefully. So we're moving into the 8th song out of 10. We're getting toward the end of the show here. I don't think I got anything crazy witty to say right now, but hopefully everyone is having a good time with this. I certainly am, because I love this stuff. Playing guitar, it's just a beautiful thing. I don't know why there are people who don't play guitar. I don't know why there are people who don't eat pizza, and I don't know why there are people who do eat mushrooms. But there you go. Apparently not everyone in the world has to agree with me. Yeah, I'm glad it got fixed too. It was a sheet music thing. I don't know if you've been in a few times. You may have heard about this. Basically, when I'm doing this stuff, I don't have my music memorized. So I have my sheet music that I've created for my albums up on the screen, and it scrolls automatically. Well, I had the wrong version of my sheet music up. I tried to put it up correctly, and it didn't work. My sheet music program is kind of a bully as far as the audio system goes. So it argued with me and it won. But we are here and we are re-triumphing, if that's a term. It is now. So let's move forward. And this is a perfectly appropriate song title. This is called No, You Don't. Ganjan is now following on Twitch. Thank you very much for the follow, Ganjan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. GND Jan. But welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Mad Poet Society. We are glad to have you here. And Metal Diva, you love hearing me play. Thank you very much. I love having people hear me play. This is so fantastic that I still get to play live. It's great. So Sarah and I actually moved out to Eastern Washington before the pandemic hit, just before. And so this was my plan all along, because we're living in a little town. There's no nightlife out in these little towns in Eastern Washington. And that works well for us. But I do love performing, so now that I can actually perform online, it's great. And one thing, I don't think I've mentioned this in a while, but I still really like the fact that when I do a show, I don't have to carry amplifiers around anymore. That is one of the best things about doing shows streaming style, is everything's here. I just come into my studio, my office here, and start playing, and it's delicious. So it looks like we've had a few people coming in here over the last couple songs. We're actually moving in toward the end of the show. We've got a couple songs left for this one. It's been an interesting one today because we have had some technical glitches earlier that required us to actually start the whole thing over, which is always exciting and fun. But we're moving along, so we've got a couple more songs here. And for those who are interested, I will be back in 6 hours and 43 minutes or so. I stream every Friday at noon and 8 Pacific time. Feel free to adjust for your own location, as it were. But we do like having you here. So welcome one, welcome all. If you're just joining us, we call ourselves the Mad Poet Society, which is actually Teresa's idea. I'm not sure if she's still in watching today. But let's keep rocking. We're gonna get into a little G minor action. Arcane 8050 has also followed. Arcane, thank you very much. Good word. We don't see the word arcane being used enough. Every time I see that, it reminds me of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is just my favorite series of books. They're so great. And so there's a part in the 4th book where they're trying to track down what happened to the dolphins. If you've read the books, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you probably don't. So they're trying to get in touch with this one particular gentleman, and they can only get his wife on the phone, and she goes by Arcane Jill, which is great word, great word, great username. Again, everyone coming in, thank you very much. I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. You are the Mad Poet Society. I am the Mad Poet Society. We are all the Mad Poet Society. Let's play some music. We're getting into some G minor action, about 132 beats a minute or thereabouts. Kind of a medium-paced song, if I recall correctly. Not entirely sure how this song goes. Let's see what I can do here. This piece is called "Does It Make Any Sense?", which is really appropriate for what's going on today. I was definitely into not having resolution at the end of my songs when I composed this album. So as I mentioned earlier, this is kind of an interesting album in that it's an album that has more than one song dedicated to someone. Most of my albums do have just one song dedicated to someone that I know. Usually, a friend, a family member, someone I've worked on a project with, people I like. Basically, I dedicate songs to. And so I had before we moved here, we had a pair of landlords, Troy and Justin, who were just great guys. And they're really just so far away the best landlords that we ever had. And of all the landlords, before even Sarah and I got together and moved in together, we had a couple different landlords, the two of us, and then of course we've had rentals before that. So yeah, these guys were great. So earlier I played Path of the Path of the Red Rat and the Dragon Tyrant. That was dedicated to Troy. This next one's going out to Justin. As I see, Troy requested that his song be edgy. I definitely went with edgy on this one as well. This I feel is one of my better song titles. And we're gonna finish up the evening, the afternoon, morning, night, wherever it is where you are. That's how we're gonna finish this one up. And of course, we will be playing the same album again in about 6.5 hours. I will, of course, be wearing an entirely different purple shirt. And I will be playing different improvisational guitar solos, and I will be talking a different amount of smack during my intermissions or interludes or inter-whatevers. So that's what we're going to be doing, because that's what we do. That's just the way things are here. So again, I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We're moving in on the last song of the afternoon, evening, morning, day, night, whatever. I will see you on the other side of it. This is called Drowning in a Pool of Blood. forgot how hard that song is to play. There's a lot going on in that one. I practiced it a couple times last night when I got to, I'm like, oh, that's right, there's crazy stuff in here. Fun though, very fun piece. Okay, that is the show for the afternoon. Thank you very much all for coming in. Thank you to our new followers, new members of the Mad Poet Society. Feel free to check out the Discord if you are so inclined. It's not very active, but you're always welcome to get on there. And of course, I will be back in 6.5 hours, 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific time zone. Hope you can make it for that. Tell your friends about it. Tell your enemies about it. Talk about it. I would love to have a bigger following here. We have a lot of fun in these shows. I hope you enjoyed it. That is all I got for this one. You guys all have a great day. It's time for me to eat some cold pizza.